Well, today I'm very lucky to be able to show you this absolutely awesome guitar from Fender Japan. This is on loan to me from my friend Ben, who's had this guitar since it came out basically. He bought it back in 2005 for the whopping sum of 500 quid. So what do I have here then? Well, this is a Fender Japan Jaguar Baritone custom bass, sort of, maybe. The details on it are a little bit sparse, to be honest. There's not an awful lot of information on the internet, but what I can tell you is that it's a lot like a bass 6, but it has some differences. So yeah, Ben bought this back in around 2005 when it was brand new, and he thinks he paid around £500 for it. Now you certainly wouldn't get a guitar of this quality for that kind of money these days, but you know, price is relative and inflation and all of that, but still, 500 quid. So for a guitar that's basically 20 years old, this thing is immaculate. I mean, there's barely a mark on it. You could easily sell this as mint condition, like new, and get no pushback from the buyer. It is so good. I mean, Ben's really looked after this, and I guess it's one of those instruments that probably doesn't get played quite as much as like a regular guitar or a bass, but still, man, I don't think you're going to find any examples of this in this kind of clean condition. It's just, oh. Damn it! I want it, Ben! So it's one of those crafted in Japan models rather than made in Japan. Now, I don't really know the history of that and the details of that and why that's significant, but just a point to note. Guys, if you want to see more videos on guitars like this, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you know, while you're there, stick a like on the video, helps me out and gets the video in front of more people. Cheers. So as I said, there's not an awful lot of information out there on this guitar, but what I can tell you is that unusually it's a 28.5 inch scale length, so it falls more in a kind of baritone guitar range, considering it's set up as a bass. So in comparison, your Fender or Squier bass 6 comes with a 30 inch neck, so you may find with this being set up as a bass E2E that, you know, your lower strings might be a bit flappier than you were expecting, but yeah, it's still absolutely playable. It's got a really nicely figured older body, and it looks like a 3-piece body to me. It's got a maple neck and a rosewood fretboard, and it looks like a 7.25 inch radius on that fretboard. Obviously a bit different from a bass 6, you have a stop tail and tunematic bridge, and you have two of these kind of Jaguar style pickups with the teeth along the side. The electronics are exactly the same as a regular Jaguar, so you have your on and off for each pickup when you're in the lead mode. You have your strangle switch, which, you know, will cut some bass out of the signal, and the volume and control for that lead mode. And then you have the rhythm circuit up top there with volume and tone again. You have that classic Fender 70s logo there, and the Baritone custom decal up there, and of course we've got the vintage style split post tuners, my favourite kind of tuners. So yeah, it's a really cool guitar. Now, I've jammed with Ben loads over the years, and to be honest, he doesn't really bring this out very often. We've played in bands together over the years as teenagers, but this came along kind of a bit after that. We did do one little session one time where we did a bit of a placebo cover, and he brought this out, and I have to say I was very envious of this guitar at the time. It is unusual though, right? Because, you know, it's called a baritone guitar. It's called Baritone Custom, but it's not a baritone guitar. This is a bass 6, just in a different format. It's tuned E to E. It's got bass 6 strings on it, albeit a bit floppier than the bass 6 would normally be. But it's got that shorter scale length neck. Now that makes it quite interesting because this neck isn't super chunky. You can easily get your hand around it, and you know, you can easily play, you know, chords down the bottom end like this. So I think potentially you could set this up as a baritone guitar, tuning B to B, or, you know, whatever you choose to do, with perhaps some, you know, more guitar orientated strings, and, you know, really have a bit of a sleeper baritone guitar on your hands. I'm sure there's people out there that have already done that with this model, but, you know, interesting. I think it would take a couple of little mods, like, you know, you definitely need to change the nut because it's cut for obviously big bass strings on the low side, but interesting one to try. I'm not going to do that myself, of course, because this is not my guitar, and, you know, these are the original strings, which is crazy. They still sound great. They still sound really bright. They don't feel old and dead or anything. It's just a remarkable guitar, really. Very unique. So yeah, a really cool alternative to the bass 6 or, you know, another baritone guitar. Good luck finding one though. Yeah, I've looked and it's really hard to kind of find much about this guitar at all, let alone anyone listing any secondhand. I did find a Reverb listing from about 2 years ago where one of these sold in the US, mind, for about £1,700. So yeah, if you want one, it ain't going to be cheap. I've definitely tried to buy this off Ben a few times over the years, but, you know, fair play to him. I'd be keeping hold of it as well if it was mine. So there's quite a lot to demo with this guitar. I'm not sure if I'll get to all of it. You know, it does have the Jaguar style switching, so it's got a lot of different sounds in it. But maybe I'll just find a couple of sounds that I really like out of it and demo those. I'll stick that in now, and you've probably seen some other clips of it already throughout the video. Check it out. wraps things up for the Fender Japan Jaguar Baritone Custom. Let me know what you think about it. I really love this thing and I really don't want to have to give it back to Ben, but such is life. It's got to go back to him at some point. Ben, thanks again for letting me borrow it. Let me know what you would do with this guitar. Would you modify it? Would you make it more like a baritone and string it up B to B? Or would you keep it as a bass 6 kind of instrument? Let me know in the comments. Well, thanks again for watching and sticking around all the way to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, you know, while you're here, check out this video I did on Gareth's Parts Caster a couple of weeks ago. Thanks again and catch you in the next one. Cheers. I really love it.